First of all, I just want to say that I hate being on camera.
One big takeaway that I've learned from this experience, for me, it's the ability to, trust your peers and the people around you to do what they need to do. And it helps that I have a fantastic team, that everybody is so good at their job. That's really helped me kind of get in the zone with what I need to do myself and not have to worry about all of the things happening around me.
When you're working with a group, you're looking to try to blend each other's style. When me and Colby work together, for example, he has a different style. When filming, he's a big tripod guy and likes to use his tripod and stuff like that. I like to use handheld. So it was really cool to try to blend those two types of camera styles together into a documentary like this. And we also have different editing styles and stuff like that. So working around our workflow was really educational to me to try to blend that stuff together.
How to rely on other people. It's easy, especially as a college student. You do so much work and you really learn how to rely on yourself and do things independently, but this project has really helped show that you can depend on others and you should depend on others for a lot of things.
One big takeaway has definitely been knowing when to be a leader and knowing when to take a back seat. I think being able to do both those roles has literally, being in those capstone group has taught me that, there's always a time to listen, and there's always a time to speak up, and your group should make you comfortable enough to do that, to make you feel like it's a safe space. And yeah, that's just something I'm going to take away.
It's really solidified that I really do enjoy doing digital content and social media and promotions and things like that. It's where my skill sets lie, and I feel really honored that I got to work with someone as talented as Malay. She's worked so hard, and I just felt so lucky I got to work alongside someone who was so knowledgeable, and for the rest of the team as well. I mean, they all have such phenomenal strengths, and it's okay that maybe some of those strengths aren't necessarily mine, because I can rely on them too.
One of the things that I have learned that I will use in my professional career is definitely the style that I have learned to design with. I'm always a person who has a lot of ideas in mind and thoughts, and sometimes it's just hard to put them all together and be more organized. So I think what I have learned is how to be organized, simple, straight to the point.
The biggest takeaway that I have learned from this project professionally is anything that you would ever need to help you learn and grow in other areas is out there and can be found. So it might take a little bit of research, but through a simple Google search, a few phone calls, or talks with people that you know that have connections, you will be able to find what you are looking for in whatever aspect that may be. So if it is trying to set up an interview with someone, or finding research that's been buried or lost, it might take time, but it will be out there and it will be worth it in the end.
One thing that I've learned about myself, I've definitely learned sort of the limits of my patience, which is a lot deeper than I thought it was. Like I said before, on those late night edits, you gotta keep your mind strong, you gotta just push through. Sometimes it can be a little hard, but I've learned that I am strong enough to continue working no matter what, and I'm surprised about that, to be honest, but I am definitely happily surprised.
I'm not good at my cows.
That I'm not Superman, and I can't do everything alone, and I can't do everything all at once, all the time, and that it's okay to lean on other people.
I'm a lot more capable of things than I think I am. I tend to underestimate what I can do, but I've also had to recognize that just because I can do things doesn't mean I have to do all of them.
One thing that I've learned about myself is that I'm actually patient. Before I thought I was like very impatient and I wanted things my way when it's done kind of thing. But there's really just like beauty in just like letting things sit out and wait it out. Because, you know, like time is everything. So I just really learned that like it's going to get done at some point. It doesn't have to be like in a hasty way, and sometimes it's better if I just wait it out instead of like making rushed decisions.
Something that I have learned about myself is that I'm actually better than I think myself to be. I don't really like to say, oh, I'm the best or whatever, but I'm really proud of myself, and I always undervalue what I do. I don't know why, but yeah, I've just learned to be okay with my way of doing things, my way of designing, my way of making artwork, and like my way of working with this documentary.
Something that I have learned about myself during this time is I am capable. There have been all of my group members that have said similar answers to this question. It's definitely a daunting task, like they said, to go into this knowing that I have like 3 months to make a 15-minute documentary, which might sound like a lot of time, but it does kind of come to a crunch of numbers sometimes, and with a lot of persistence and the determination and the willpower of knowing that like you will make it through definitely pushes people to their fullest potential. So I am capable of getting stuff done on tight deadlines. I am capable of leading a team, and I am capable of putting together a 15-minute documentary in 3 months.
Trusting your team is very important, and teamwork overall is absolutely essential. You need to communicate, and our team has been so fantastic at doing that.
Blending each other's styles is really important, and not trying to fight or work against that.
The biggest thing I learned about working in a group is that everybody has such specific strengths, and that a group project like this really showcases all of those strengths in ways that like your regular classes don't. So I think that's a really unique thing.
It's okay to rely on other people. I mean, your own independence is important, and that's great. I think it's really important to be an independent person. But that being said, you also have to recognize that no man is an island. You have to be able to rely on other people, and I've been so fortunate to have such a great team. We not only get along really well professionally, but I feel like with our trip and just spending so much time together, we've really grown to get to know each other just as people too. Like the other night, in our edit bay, like Male gave me some great life advice, and then for a little while Kobe, Alec, and myself were showing each other like dumb TikToks, and so it's just things like that that will always stick with me.
You really just have to be understanding that, you know, we're all different people, we all have different cultures, and not even just cultures like where we come from, but also just like work cultures, and the work ethic, and if someone does something different to you, it doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just the way they do it. And I think just being welcoming and understanding of that really goes a long way.
Something that I have learned about working in a group is that when everybody wants to be good and productive, they will. And fortunately, everybody in our group was very hardworking. They were passionate people, very inspirational, and good with each other. So I think that's what helped us remain in a group, and also that's what helped us develop trust in one another, and that's a really big part of it.
I have learned that in order to create the best environment possible, you have to create that trust. So right away in the beginning, it was making sure that people's needs were heard and met, whether that be personally or what they wanted out of a group, making sure that our contract met all of those needs and those requirements. So that was a big thing when it came to making sure that our work environment was precise in what it needed to be, so that way we could get stuff done, but we weren't like ripping each other's hair out in the process. So definitely making sure that you know your teammates, you create that trust, you create that bond, you foster those relationships, and knowing that you're in a safe environment where you're able to work hard, but you're also able to play hard as well.
To me, the most fun about the whole experience was actually going to Villisca and spending all that time with my team. I was a little nervous going, spending all this time with these people that I haven't spent that much time with before, and it turned out to be a really awesome experience.
All the traveling, for sure. Just getting there was really fun and interesting for me. Playing my cows is always fun on the way, silly stuff like that. Listening to music and singing obnoxiously on the way. That kind of stuff is the stuff you remember.
I'd say that you really work yourself up into what you think the experience is going to be, and then you're in it. And then you're like, this is way more fun than I thought it was going to be. I think the whole process has been really fun. Because you're putting together a movie, which is just such a cool thing to be able to say as like your final capstone in college. And so I'd say honestly the whole thing.
But I think just being able to be a part of the process and being able to see what is possible through a group of 6 other people and myself is really amazing.
The one fun thing about this experience was definitely just coming together as a group, and just the difference in dynamics, in personalities, and work ethic. I think one thing that really put us together was just that we all really want to do well on this, so it just made it a lot easier that everyone wanted to achieve the same goal. So I really enjoyed that.
One of the things that has been the most fun is just the idea that we have to create a documentary for our capstone. Back home, or like in my high school, there haven't been a lot of like practical learning experiences, so I really like that here we get to do something practical that is also related to our major and what we want to do in the future.
I would say that the most fun thing about this experience so far has been just putting together a documentary. I have been the type of person that in my spare time I would watch movies, specifically documentaries, so it's very cool to be on the opposite end of that movie watching experience, whereas I am making the documentary instead of watching it. So it's cool to see what goes into it, so that way it also gives me new perspective when I'm watching other documentaries in my meantime.